Hello everyone, it's Ozzy and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a small business Q&A with questions that you guys asked me on YouTube and also over on Instagram. I combined similar questions and I separated this video up into different sections, so feel free to look in the description if there's a specific section or question that you're wanting answered. And I'm not going to be able to cover every single question in this video, so I'll probably make some sort of part 2 in the future. And if you weren't able to get in your questions for this one, definitely follow my Instagram or just stay in touch with community post section of my YouTube channel because that's where I ask you guys for your questions for this video. Oh my gosh, there's a gecko outside. Cute! Also, I just want to make a disclaimer that I am not a legal professional and I'm just going to share what worked with me and my small business. Okay, so the first overall section that I got a lot of questions in, this was one of the most repeated areas, is social media and growing on social media. One of the top questions was, how did I grow my accounts on social media and was it just consistency? And I will say yes, consistency does play a very big role in growing your accounts, especially on Instagram. On Instagram and probably YouTube as well, it is better to post one post or one video every single week than post 5 videos or photos in 1 week and then completely ghost for the next 2 weeks. It gets a lot easier to make content the more that you do it. A very good starting point for just starting out is at least posting 1 video and 1 post every week on Instagram. And this can be as simple as literally just showing your product or whatever it is that you make. Now, I'm about to give a lot of examples of different reel ideas that are related to jewelry making, but they can also apply to other small business endeavors like crochet, art, etc. So for example, a couple really easy ones that you can just kind of mash up and redo is before and after videos. You can show the process of designing the beads or picking out the beads and then what the final product looks like. Another easy one is just filming yourself working at your desk and putting some sort of text over it, a thought, an opinion, or even a trend. There are a lot of reels out there that are just a bunch of B-roll footage with just a big chunk of text right in the middle, and a lot of those are just trends that go around, so it's really easy to just hop on those. For example, I just did one that was kind of sharing your origin story or how you started out with making jewelry. So even that is an example of a reel that can be very easy early on, just a lot of B-roll footage with some text in front of it, and also showing your behind the scenes, who you are as a small business. Those do really well because nowadays people want to connect with who you are, not just your product. I know some small business owners prefer to stay faceless and just show their product, which also totally works, but if you are willing to show your face, that is also really great because you can really build a connection to your audience and they can get to know you as a small business owner with videos that share personal experiences, mini little studio vlogs or market day vlogs. Those are really great at building connection with your audience and not just virality, meaning going viral. Okay, my second question kind of bounces off the first one, which is how I stay consistent and how I come up with ideas. It's kind of different between YouTube and Instagram, but one thing that I always follow is filming real life over chasing trends. So basically the way that I apply this in both Instagram and YouTube is I'll film and make content about what I am already doing for my small business and not just going out of my way to completely create brand new content. I guess that's not the best way to word it, but not completely go out of my way to chase a specific trend. And this kind of reduces workload. So for example, over on Instagram, I pretty much already have 4 built-in posts every week because typically I post 2 product drops a week, and every single product I have a carousel, so just a photos post for, and I also have a video or a reel for. So that's already 4 days completely covered because I'll have 2 product drops and a video and a post for each product over on Instagram. And those are items that I was already making anyways, already going to put on my shop for my small business. So that's definitely something that you can implement, literally just filming stuff that you're making anyways for your small business. And if you want to do more interesting reels than just posting the final product, you can show behind the scenes, process videos, before and afters. Now for YouTube, it's pretty similar because a lot of the content that I post on Instagram, I do also post on YouTube, specifically with reels and shorts. I edit short form videos and then I post them to both Instagram and YouTube. This is something I'd suggest you definitely do if you're using multiple platforms. Just edit your short form videos at least on their own, and then if you're posting to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, just use the same videos and just post to all 3 platforms every time you launch one of those videos. The way that I follow that filming real life over chasing trends aspect on long form videos is typically I will film a tutorial over a jewelry item that I'm already making anyways, Or if I'm filming a studio vlog or like a productive day in the life vlog, it's for stuff that I have to do anyways. Like I'm already packing and shipping an order that day, I'm already making jewelry that day, so I'm just filming it and turning that into the content. I know it seems like a really simple concept, but that's just something that's been really helpful for me and I implore you to do as well. My next question in the social media section is for those who are shy or intimidated and are kind of trying to get over that in order to post online. In order to overcome that, I have some advice, and the first piece of advice is that nobody starts with a ton of followers and a bunch of views. Nobody starts with the absolute dream, most aesthetic setup. Everybody starts at literally zero. Everybody starts at the same exact place. And that goes for confidence too. You definitely have to build up confidence as you make more content and as you post and put yourself out there online. Think of it as a muscle that you exercise rather than something that you were just born with. Every single time that you post online or respond to comments or comment on other people's posts, you're working that muscle of being more confident and more self-assured and just more comfortable online. When I very first started, I had literally just learned how to make jewelry and I was like, well, might as well post it online. And then I built up my confidence and became the small business owner that I am today with the online presence that I have today. That is not needed to start, that is something that builds up over time the more that you do it. Okay, this next section is just going to be packaging and shipping in general. I got a lot of questions like, how do I start packing and shipping? How do I pack orders? Do you pay for shipping or does the customer pay for shipping? And this is something that I kind of covered in my how to start a small business video. So I'd suggest watching that video as well. I'll put the timestamp on the screen somewhere about like where I kind of talk about shipping. Really quickly go over what I covered in that video, which is some businesses start with selling on Instagram or on social media platforms where they're just like, DM me for purchase. And for those businesses, there isn't a built-in shipping system. Now, I don't know exactly how they're doing it because I started on Etsy, so I always had a built-in shipping system. I don't know with those small business owners if they're paying for shipping or if they're also charging their customer for shipping after they've calculated what it will cost once they know their address. So it's a little bit more complicated when you go that route, which is why I suggest if you're able to start out on a platform. If you need a free platform, Etsy is a good place to start, or once you're able to pay for a platform, I also kind of break down these platforms in that video, but there are a lot of really great online websites such as Big Cartel, Shopify, Squarespace, and Wix, where you can host your small business and then shipping is built in and your customer always pays for shipping because when they input their address information, it automatically calculates how much it's going to cost to ship the item with what sort of packaging you use. I know that's kind of a lot to take in, but basically I would suggest if you can to start on Etsy because that's free and then have them calculate and charge your customers shipping costs through their platform because it's a lot easier, at least like getting started, than having to go on USPS's website and print out your own shipping labels. So for me, yes, the customer always pays shipping. I have my website on Big Cartel. When they check out, they put in their address and then Big Cartel automatically calculates how much shipping is going to cost and automatically charges them the right amount. Now, as for packing and shipping orders, I have always used bubble mailers and a lot of the supplies that I use are linked in my Amazon storefront, which is linked in the description of this video and all of my videos. If you want to use the exact bubble mailers that I use, they are 6 by 9 inches and they offer a lot of extra protection with that like bubble lining. As for like actually packaging orders, I would start with less freebies as you're just getting started and then scale up the aesthetics of your packaging as your business scales. You want to balance aesthetics versus profit, so very early on you don't want to be spending a ton of money on extra freebies that cost an additional like $5 per customer just for the shipping because then your profit margin isn't going to be great. So I just consider that, maybe start out by giving just like 1 sticker per customer at the very beginning as a little freebie, or you don't have to have freebies at all. That's completely up to you, and I would just scale it up and make it look more aesthetic and cute once you've established yourself more and you have more orders and you're more in the flow of budgeting. Okay, the next section is pricing, taxes, and money. First question is how I price my items, and I typically just charge the cost of materials that it took to make the item and then the hourly wage that I would want to be paid. So for example, take a $30 necklace. The beads that I buy in bulk range anywhere from like 5 cents to like 50 cents per bead. So let's just say that it's like 20 cents per bead at around like 30 beads. So it would be $6 for material costs, and then the remaining $24 would be be like my hourly wage. You never want to price your hourly wage as a small business owner lower than like the national minimum wage. And even like a couple dollars above that is like $10 an hour. That's still a really bad wage. Try to get around like $20 to $30 an hour at least, because it's handmade goods, girl. Like, this is unique. This is something that only you can make, okay? So charge for it. I always batch certain items like phone charms or keychains, and that's why I price them so low, because for example, if I make 4 keychains in an hour and I price them all at $12, which is typically where I price my keychains, that isn't $12 for the hour, that's actually $48 for the hour with the profit of all 4 keychains. Next question is taxes, which can be really scary, but I'm gonna break this up into sales tax and income tax. If you use one of those website platforms that I mentioned, where you can have your online shop through Big Cartel or Shopify or Squarespace or something like that, typically they calculate and remit sales taxes themselves. So for example, I use Big Cartel and it remits whatever amount needs to be remitted for where I live. So that's why I'd recommend one of these websites, because they take care of that for you. For income tax, I just keep a spreadsheet for business expenses and also how much money is coming in. Things like supplies, packaging, beads, and materials can all count as business expenses. If you're just starting out, my best advice is just to track everything from the beginning all in one spreadsheet and look in the income threshold for when you need to start reporting your income as a small business. That can vary depending on where you live, so it's really important to look at your local rules. Once you know what the income threshold is for when you actually need to start remitting taxes on your income as a small business, you'll already have that spreadsheet set up, so you'll be ready for when that happens. And if you want to, you can also take a small percentage of every single sale and put it into a savings account so that you're ready in case you owe taxes later. I am not a legal expert or a legal professional when it comes to taxes. This is just my basic advice for you guys. Okay, next question is, do you need to register your business? And for me personally, I started selling before registering anything because I wanted to make sure that my items would actually sell first. Exact rules with registration depend on where you live though, so once you start making consistent income from your business, I would just look into your local requirements.
I know that was general, but I don't want to advise anybody incorrectly because I am not a legal or tax professional. I encourage you to do your own research for your specific situation. Thank you guys for understanding.
Okay, last section is branding and niche, and I got a lot of questions about like how I picked my branding, how I picked my logo, and also how I kind of found my niche. I had a couple comments that were concerned about like not being able to pick a specific niche because they love everything, and that is totally okay. Like, that is a good problem to have. I'm so glad that you like so many aesthetics. I would first kind of try to pin down something that you won't ever get sick of, if that makes sense. Like, I love the color green. I love all things earthy and planty, and I've just never grown out of that, so I really knew that a green logo and a green sort of vibe is something that I wouldn't grow out of. My second point is, it's more important to just start. So like, if you can't decide, just pick something and get started with it. You'll adapt and change your branding and your niche over time. You definitely don't need to stick to the exact same thing that you pick at the very beginning. Your brand will evolve with you, so I would definitely not overthink the very first version and let customer feedback and interaction online sort of guide you. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any tips that I didn't share, or if there's any specific topics that you want me to do a deeper dive on, or if there's any ideas that you have for me to cover in part 2. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and if you're starting a small business or you're growing your small business, I share lots of tips and lots of cozy small business content, so definitely subscribe. And keep in mind that starting is messy and overwhelming, but you are capable of more than you think. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!